Okay, welcome to the pre-legal discussion where we educate, motivate, and empower non-custodial parents about their legal rights. And by saying that, I would like to get started. This is my partner right here, Michael Mike.
Good morning, good morning.
How you doing, brother?
Doing well.
Okay, I'd like to thank you for coming and being on the show. But I just want to ask you a couple of questions that I pulled off from emails. Some people have emailed me and asked some questions about their legal rights and also about being motivated to be more involved within their kids' life.
Absolutely.
So the first question is, how would a non-custodial parent take the custodial parent to court and actually get her subpoena? What are the first steps to do that?
First and foremost, that's going to be a very tedious process. And then the reply I'm giving you guys, don't take it as a legal legal answer. Take it as a fatherhood consultation because it's not a one-size-fit-all. But that being said, quite often when you're thinking about removing a child from a mother, that is number one, a very, very tedious task. However, not an insurmountable or unrealistic task. Because when we think about the family, Texas Family Code, everything is based on what's in the best interest of the child or the children. So with that being said, if you have clear and concise documentation to show that the mother is not doing what's in the best interest of the child or the children, the very first thing I would suggest as a parent you would do is to document. Document, because he say, she say is not enough for a court setting to say, remove a child out of a setting and change over to another setting, even when we know, unfortunately, our system is designed more favorably for the mother.
Okay.
So the first thing I definitely do is truly identify what the problem is that you feel the court should know, and why the court should render a decision to remove your child from the mother and place that child either with you or someone else. Then document it so well that it makes it a clear and cut, contested.
And why is he say and she say is not relevant in court?
You think about, we can walk in and say, oh, he said I have on a blue shirt, and you can say, no, I said light blue shirt, and that can go on for years.
And that's why it's well to actually document the
Right.
issues, because this is a document-based society.
And you're in a society where words are basically used, in so many different ways that is basically, it's hard to believe anybody. But if you have, concrete, documentation that the mother done something you deem that's could endanger your child, whether it be mental, physical, emotionally, or psychologically, then bring the proof to the table. If you got a mother that's, leave the child alone by themselves and they're under the age of legal age to be at home by themselves, document that. If she's have a revolving door of men that could be less than ethical, document that. If she's smoking dope, document that.
And that's one of the things that I had to face, because I had to do the same thing. And the step that I took was actually going down to the Attorney General office and actually filling out a certain type of document and actually getting her subpoena. So it took a while. They came and served me, and they went to go serve her as well. So that's the step that I took. I went down to the Attorney General office, asked questions, educated myself on the situation, and actually got the thing put in perspective. So, and that's how I took the mother of my child to court.
Yeah, and like you said, there's a full process. Like I said, everyone has to be served. First, you got to get the paperwork developed. Then you got to get everybody served. Then you got to make sure the court have its copies.
Yeah.
Then you also got to make sure you set a proper hearing. So there's several steps you have to go through. But even before you get to that, you have to document it. Then once it's documented, draft up the proper paperwork. Whether it's going to be a modification, whether it's going to be an enforcement or whatever. Then from that, file it. And then from that, you also have to make sure both parties have proof that they received a copy of it, whether it be served by a constable or, other ways, ideally a constable, because they can't be so easily contested. Then you got to set the hearing, you got to make sure you do the follow-up, and also be mindful, dependent on the county, there are other side steps. Dallas is a little bit different than Cherry.
Yes, it is.
Collin is different than both of those, and Denton is even different. So make sure you look at the process procedure in your county first, and be patient, because you and I both know it won't happen overnight.
It was not, because it took me a while to actually
And be
get that,
mindful that,
accomplished.
and be mindful the Office of Attorney General is not your best friend.
Okay, thank you for the question. My other question is a household question, and what is missing from the household today when it comes down to actually developing our family?
You know, you think about it, the infrastructure of family consists of a father, a mother, and the children, you know, and nowadays, when you remove the man from the
Yes.
equation and you have a single parent household, that right off the, you know, the beginning or the origin of it creates unfortunate chaos. So what's missing is we as fathers need to understand whether it's a blended family, meaning our children live with the mother or our children live with us. We should take that responsibility and be included in the decision process. And granted, the mothers who are less than co-parenting, they're gonna give you so much trouble, it's unbelievable, but there's a solution to the problem. You just gotta be willing to figure out what's the problem is. But if we make it our due mission to in our children's lives, whether it's FaceTiming them every day, visit them according to whatever schedule the court has given you, or, in the case we asked earlier, finding a way to see that it's best for them to be with us, let your children know unconditionally, I'm there for you. And
Okay.
you'll find then that generation of children acting out because of not being properly parenting will slowly go away.
It will, because from my understanding and what I done been through and what I done faced as a non-custodial parent, man, I can see that the father is very key to the household. You know,
Absolutely.
we need to have our presence. We need to take the initiative to actually be involved with our kids' lives, and the mothers out there, y'all need to actually have that type of understanding and be humble with the situation, because our kids need our fathers, and that's what they they take heed to. They follow his words, they follow his love, and that's what they need. So I advise a lot of mothers and fathers that are non-custodial parents to actually practice co-parenting. You know, actually sit down, if you can sit down with each other and have a discussion, have a dialogue to actually give y'all a better perspective of what's really going on within y'all household when y'all raising y'all kids, because it actually hurts the kid, and that's why a father is very important in the household.
Absolutely. You know, because you think about if they're putting a child in a position like a car, that's just, you got a nice car, old school '64 Mustang, you know, classic. You're gonna clean it up, you're gonna make sure the motor's running good, and if the mother comes over and say, I'm gonna key that car, what's the first thing you know do? Oh, you don't run out that door, you don't keep her away. Well, isn't your children better than that '64 Mustang? When she say you can't see your child, when you know you can't do this or do that, why do men just so quickly say, oh, okay, she won't let me see it, but they'll go through whatever stream to protect that car? We have to put our priorities in perspective, you know, and some guys say, well, hey man, you know, I can't because I have a past. Okay, well, that's a past. This is the present, you know, and if you're not doing anything wrong, then that's when you should stand true to your children, not the baby mama. Because if she's doing wrong, she's just doing wrong. Don't be afraid to say something about it. And then your children will see that, hey, daddy's here for me, and they'll start making provision to make it easy.
And me being a father and what I done came from and overcame, and I have a situation with the mother of my child, or either other mother that I see within the community, and if the father is doing right and the mother is not doing right, why is it so hard for the Attorney General to actually see that? Or do they even look into that? Because I think they don't even look to it, they one-sided. They don't look at the neglect, they don't look at the abuse. It can be mentally abuse, you know, verbal abuse. There's all type of ways to actually harm a child's mindset. And I'm trying to see what can we do as a group to actually get these organizations or government organizations to actually take heed to what's really going on in the family.
Well, you think about it, each of those organizations have their place. Think about the Office of Attorney General, in the definition, is really just a collection agency for our government, especially for those that are dealing with welfare. So they're not exactly the litigating platform in order to give you any type of immediate resolution for your problem. You know, that's the purpose of a higher court, the district court. You know, so if you're going to the Office of Attorney General, typically their focal point will be collecting revenue and collecting revenue for health insurance. as it comes to visitation rights, proper mediation, it's a hit or miss. You got some caseworkers that will work with you, you got some that are just completely unreasonable. However, if you sincerely trying to do what's best for your children, understand the Office Attorney General will for sure manage and collect your money.
Yes.
But if you want to do some type of changes or upgrade, you need to go to the final decision maker in the district courts. Because it's real easy to walk an Attorney General for free and put yourself on child support, but now you're following their rules. Their rules, not all of the state rules. But if you go to district court, you gotta pay to file for that, which is a deterrent, but at least now you're on equal playing field. You start out equally, because now you have a voice and the mother has a voice, and then developing a parenthood strategy that's best for your children, not just based on your money, makes it a lot easier for you to stay in compliance.
Yes, it does. Okay, thank you for answering that question. My third question is, when it comes down to visitation, and a lot of guys are actually, dealing with visitation, and when it comes down to child support, they take away the means for the father to actually be their father and go over there and actually visit their father. They give them, they put laws in perspective to actually change the narrative so guys can actually be like, kind of like not even like really want to go over there because something might happen when you're dealing with the court.
You think about, first we have to understand child support or financial support is one thing. Visitation or access and possession is a separate thing. If you don't pay your child support, then you go to jail. But by the same token, if you're paying your child support, unfortunately, it does not entitle you to make demands for visitation. That's separate.
Yeah.
And guys say, and a lot of times, the mothers say, well, you didn't pay your child support, so you can't see your child. That's wrong.
Yeah,
but by the same token, if you don't pay your child support, you shouldn't be penalized that you can't see your child by the courts or the mother. Two separate things. And with that, you gotta be mindful again, a collection agency doesn't have your best interest first. It has the money first. Typically, if a mother's doing something to hold a child as a tool to control you, then she's not a good mother. And I say that, you're not a good mother if you're using your child as a pawn to control the father to do what you want him to do.
She's not being part of the solution,
Right.
she's actually being part of the problem.
Part of the problem.
That's really hurting the child.
And with that being said, that's when I encourage you, father, to do exactly what you need to do. Document that and request the court to do what's best for the child and give it to you.
And that's one reason why the legal discussion is so important for our community. And I'm gonna have a legal discussion in February the 22nd on Saturday. But that's one thing that I really want us as a community or non-custodial parents to know. We gotta understand and know about the Attorney General court order. There's a lot of things in there that you can do, and there's a lot of things in there that you don't do. And a lot of guys actually don't see that because they don't educate themselves. They
Right.
don't actually open up the Attorney General court order to see what they can do, because there's a lot of things you can't be careful of. Visitation, you can't be careful from the schools, you can't be careful from their medical history, all that type of stuff that you need to know as a non-custodial parent. And a lot of guys don't even take the initiative to look over the documentation.
Right, and you're smart. You're exactly right on point. They don't read the paperwork. And so if you don't read the paperwork, you don't know what you can do, can't do, what you're entitled to, and even when you make a mistake, because you don't know what's in your order. And if you don't understand it, that's the purpose of the legal discussion.
Yes, yes.
If you come there and you can't read, don't be embarrassed. Somebody set aside, that's enough us fathers can read your order, highlight it to help you understand it, so it makes it easy for you to stay in compliance. Because, not everybody's a perfect reader. Not everybody understands the language of the law. They make it that way. But as a group of men, if you come out to the legal discussion, someone is gonna ask a question that's related to something you're going to, that'll start the discussion. Before you know it, you're getting well educated. So don't be embarrassed or, feel shy, because if you got 20 men in the room, someone is going through something similar to you. And in doing so, you'll be able to, oh yeah, that's how he done it. Now you can have a conversation with someone who came through that issue and successfully done it, and now you know what to do instead of doing all those mistakes.
Okay. Well, that is the pre-legal discussion, and I'd like to thank y'all for having my brother Mike on the show, and I appreciate y'all for having me on the show.